Good afternoon, hello, and welcome to Finance Conversation. This is the 11th episode of the Merging Life and Money Show, and I am super excited to be here with you. If we are meeting for the first time, I am your host, Marie-Jo César, and I help frustrated professional women acquire and apply the relevant financial skills and knowledge they need to take control of their money from the inside out, manage their finances, and understand that they can live their best life with the money they have. Thank you. Thank you for joining in today. If you are watching the replay, make sure to type hashtag replay in the chat and leave me with some comments and questions. Welcome, welcome, and welcome. I come to you live every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to share valuable information about how to achieve financial wellness and live your life with means and meaning. Today's show is the 10th in the series titled How to Build a Secure Financial Plan. I will be exploring step 9 of the process, which is the importance of planning your finances together when in a relationship. So grab a pen and a notebook, and as I will be sharing tips and ideas that you might want to write down. And if you have any comments or questions, make sure to put them in the chat. And if you want to talk to me directly, I will share my contact information later in the show. So far in the series, How to Build a Secure Financial Plan, I talked about 8 keys: financial mindset, budgeting, debt elimination, savings, insurance, retirement, investment, and estate planning. And today, I will share information about the importance of planning your finances together when in a relationship. No matter your nationality, gender, or income, you would likely find it difficult to talk about money. Money is considered one of the most uncomfortable and invasive topics to discuss, even more so than death. Money is personal, and how we earn and spend our money is wrapped up in pride, ego, and often shame. And perhaps because of this, some turn to hiding their transaction, a practice known as financial infidelity, from the people they are closest to. Being open about your finances and managing your money together have its benefit. It helps you build a stronger bond with your partner and helps you learn new ways to work together as a team. However, a recent study revealed that 67% of US couples argue over finances, and 60% do not like their partner's spending habits. Life is just too short to be arguing about money, especially trivial amounts of money. When it comes to money and marriage, however, very little has changed. While technology is helping us simplify our finances, and our ideas about who earns more have changed, we are still having many of the same money fights or arguments our parents and grandparents had. As a result, money still remains one of the main reasons people get divorced. So when couples argue about money, what is really going on? When looking closer at these money conflicts, it is clear that money issues are a symptom of deeper relationship issues, not the cause. Money arguments are not really about money, okay? You are actually arguing about what money emotionally represents, such as love, security, power, control, status, acceptance, respect, etc. First, look at your values and determine the true purpose of money in your life. When your values are clear, your financial decisions become easy. Very often, we do not realize that we are spending money in conflict with our values. When you align the way you spend and save with your values, you will have a purposeful life. Also, it's maybe that you are just not communicating well about money in general. A good first step for couples who want to get on the same page and communicate better is talking about shared goals. What's important in your life? And what do you want to achieve? In those conversations about your shared life, money discussion will come naturally. So today, it's going to be a bit longer than normal. I will focus on 3 issues regarding money in relationship. I would look at establishing your financial boundary early in the game. So before saying I do, make sure to have those necessary money conversations. I will also address identifying your common sources of money problems and arguments and figuring out how to handle them. And finally, I will talk about avoiding financial infidelity. So, from the first date to happily married, make sure to have conversation about your mutual financial fitness. A bit of friction in a relationship can keep the sparks alive, but when it comes to money, it is best if things run smoothly. Well, we all know that talking about finance is not exactly romantic, but neither is fighting about it. So if you want to make certain that you and your significant other are on the same page about money, be sure to ask important money questions at significant stages in your relationship. The first few dates are about, feeling each other out and seeing if there's a connection. Usually, it is best to tread lightly when bringing up more serious topics such as marriage and kids, right? The same goes for finance. Just observe the financial behavior first. Once things get serious, find out how your financial lives compare. Relationships move at their own pace, right? So whatever serious means to you, be sure to have a serious conversation about your current financial situation as well. So, talking about financial successes and failures is important. Make sure to share with each other your proudest accomplishment as well as your money mistakes or regrets. Okay, because this can serve as a good jumping off point to dig deeper in others' financial pictures. Make sure to bring up the C word, as in credit, because if you plan to get a house together, your credit scores will inevitably come to light. It is best to put that information on the table early. In fact, the more transparent you are with each other about your savings, your debt, and your overall financial health, the better you will understand what your future as a couple might look like and what part you will each play in it. So, the moving in stage is often the ultimate test of a relationship. Cute little behaviors can rapidly become irritating habits. No more me time, and suddenly you find yourself having to share everything. At that stage, you may consider opening a joint checking or savings account to get used to managing money as a couple. It also prompts you to have the conversation about how you are going to allocate your money. Are you agreeing to save a certain amount and then spend the rest as each of you desire? Or you should be putting a little bit extra into a joint account, and if things were to go wrong, How would you split the savings? And there is one more scenario you should not neglect to discuss. Okay, what would happen to you or to your shared belongings, because you're moving together, if you were to break up? This issue can feel especially awkward to raise, but imagine how much more difficult it would be to work out when you are no longer a couple. Okay, let's look at getting engaged. So getting engaged means you are ready to commit to each other. This transforms your conversation about money from what is going on right now to what you want for the future. It is time to talk about everything from how many kids you want, if any, to what kind of retirement you would contemplate. Although marriage is not for everyone, couples that stay together for the long haul still experience many of the same financial concerns and needs. So if you think your partner is yours for your forever person, it is still important to have this conversation, even if you do not plan to get married. Then you decide to get married and start a family, or stay together and start a family. So once you have kids, your lives will generally revolve around the kids, basically, and their education. You will need to budget for childcare, or you have to decide if one of you will take time off work to raise the family. And will the kids go to public school or will they go to private school? You wouldn't want to have those conversations ahead of the baby coming. It is also important to at least start talking about college. Okay, so will you expect your kids to pay for their own way to school, or do you plan to help? And if you do, you will have to determine how much you will need to put away each month. Then things are going well, you're growing old together. So spending your days with the person you love at your side means a lifetime of shared adventures and memories. You would have to build a life, a family, and a legacy together. So these golden years will be cherished, and you will have to talk about how to protect your legacy when one of you is no longer around. At this point, you will need comprehensive estate planning, as we discussed last week. Keep the conversation going, okay? So some of these money talks can be difficult to bring up, and money can make or break a relationship. If you and your partner are as committed to each other, you can avoid unneeded stress and arguing that often tears couple apart. Okay, so let's look at the reasons couples argue about money. When you are constantly at each other's throats about money, right, you and your partner lower the satisfaction you get from your relationship. Even in cases when decreased relationship satisfaction does not lead to divorce, it can increase your stress level and have a negative impact on the health and happiness of other members of the family, including your children. Understanding what you are arguing about and why you are arguing about it helps you and your partner come up with a way to work through arguments. There are so many, and I will focus on 5 of them today. Many couples find it hard to talk about money. Some try, but it often turns into an argument. Others have given up trying or avoid the topic altogether, which sadly hasn't solved their problem either. Okay, so one of the reasons is differing beliefs. The whole idea that opposites attract may have some basis in reality. We are often drawn to a partner whose personality and style complements our own. But differing beliefs about money can be a recipe for conflict. We develop belief about money long before we commingle our finances with a romantic partner. Research shows that we inherit attitudes, values, and belief about money from our parents and other family members. We may not even be fully conscious of our belief about spending and saving. Early on in a relationship, many couples discuss their views on marriage, their views on children, and where they want to work and live. But unfortunately, couples rarely sit down together to talk about their financial beliefs and goals. The good news is, it is never too late to have that conversation. Whether you've been in a relationship 10 weeks or 10 years, talking about your money history is the first step to getting on the same page about your finances. Some things to discuss are, what did your parents teach you about money? What are your financial goals? What are your fears about money? So having an understanding of your partner's beliefs can help you avoid conflict and set the stage for healthy discussion about joint finances. Reason number 2, spending habits. Whether it is you or your partner who is a shopaholic, a difference in spending habits is not something to sweep under the rug. Resentment and frustration can grow if one of you feels helpless in the face of the other's habit, or if one feels that the other is spending all your money with no thought for the future. Okay? So if you and your partner regularly butt heads about the other's spending habits, there are few ways you can work through the issue and understand each other's better. So see where the other is coming from. Habits develop over time and for a variety of reasons. So try to put yourself in your partner's shoes, and so that you get a better sense of the reasons and motivation of spending. A good conversation starter is to ask each other about the spending and saving habits your parents modeled for you. For example, ask if your parents were savers or if they lived beyond their means. Ask if parental behavior and attitude toward money have affected the way your partner looks at or treats money. You can also work together to identify each other's spending triggers. Sit down together and ask yourselves, what makes you likely to spend? List the cases when you might be more inclined to go out shopping, such as after a bad day, if your favorite store is having a major sale, or if you are bored. So when you see what's triggering your partner, you can develop a better sense of how to work together. Be patient. Because spending habits develop over time, it is a rare thing for a person to give up something quickly. Be patient if your partner is the one cutting back on spending, and ask your partner to be patient if you are the one making the big adjustment. Keep track of your joint spending for 1 month. Start with 1 month. If you are spending so much that you are not reaching your financial goals, begin to wean yourself off certain unnecessary expenses. I could think of one, a coffee at Starbucks every day. If one of you slips up and overspends, take a close look at what that happened or why that happened. If it was a bad day that triggered the spending spree, come up with alternative ways to deal with stress and anger. Okay? Get everything out in the open. Honesty is the best policy in any situation. When you first have the money talk with your partner, break out your bank and credit card statements so each of you can see what the other tends to buy. Before revealing your financial details, promise that you will not judge each other or make unpleasant comments. Reviewing your spending habits can help you both set goals and find where you need to cut back. Once you set a budget together, if you slip up and buy something that you did not budget for, don't try to hide it from your partner, okay? Instead, come clean and admit that you overspent on an item, right? So when you are honest, you can work together to come up with a solution. Another reason that couple gets to argue is over saving habits, okay? Couples do not only fight about the spending habits of one another, as they often disagree about how and how much to save as well. For example, some people might be so focused on saving that they are willing to pass up many life experiences, from travel to eating out at a restaurant, while others appreciate a little splurge now and then. Or you might be an aggressive and risky investor, and your partner may be a risk-averse investor. So make sure to create common goals. Sitting down with your partner and making a list of goals can help you both determine how much to save each month. If neither of you has focused on retirement saving yet, you can jointly decide to put aside 10% of each of your incomes into your own retirement accounts every month. As far as emergency savings is concerned, it is recommended that you have between 3 to 6 months worth of expenses tucked away. So look at your joint income and determine how much you can comfortably put aside each month and how long it should take you to reach your emergency fund goal. Along with long-term savings goals, you should set up shorter-term goals as well. Perhaps your car is on its way out, and if it is the case, you can agree to set aside a small portion of your incomes every month to save up enough to buy a car outright or put a sizable amount down on a car loan. You can also agree to create a joint savings account for vacations or other yearly expenses such as holiday gifts and birthdays and weddings, any type of expenses of that nature. Talk about your investment approach as well. It might not be how much to save that you and your partner disagree about, but rather how to allocate or invest your savings. Having a partner who is very risk adverse, or the opposite, makes it difficult to build up a balanced, diversified portfolio. So keep in mind that your retirement accounts are separate, meaning you can each invest your own account. You can each invest in your own account. However, you feel you deem best. So that means if your partner likes to play it safe, lower risk, retirement in vehicles such as bond might be ideal. If you are more of a risk taker, you can invest in stocks in your own retirement account, bearing in mind that stocks can lose value and may also earn a higher rate of return over the long time. So you might need to be more diplomatic when it comes to a joint non-retirement investment account, since it is held by both of you. So working with a financial planner can help the two of you figure out a good investment strategy so that you both feel comfortable with how you are managing your savings. Another reason couples argue is debt, okay? Past, current, or future debt. So how much debt each of you brings into the relationship, as well as your attitude toward tackling it, can be a big source of conflict. As with other financial matters, you and your partner can have different mindset when it comes to debt, from whether it is acceptable to carry a credit card balance to whether you should be in a hurry to pay off your student loan debts. Instead of arguing about debt, you want to be upfront and honest about your attitude and your actual debt burden and devise a plan to help you both reduce or eliminate your debt. So work together to pay it off. When you are part of a couple, right? You're a couple. The other person in the relationship does not automatically assume responsibility of any debt you bring into the relationship. In fact, any debt you bring into a relationship remain your sole responsibility even after you get married. That doesn't mean that you and your partner cannot work together to figure out a debt repayment plan that works best for your joint budget. After all, coming up with a joint plan to reduce debt can help you work together to achieve other financial goals, such as qualifying for a mortgage together and purchasing a home. So I would suggest that you come up with a debt payment strategy together. You can decide to tackle any consumer debt first by putting a significant portion of your income towards credit card debt. And once that's paid off, you can focus on your student loans and other less expensive debts. If one of you has more debt than the other, and this happened, try not to resent that person. The important thing is that you are both working together now to pay off the debt so that you can move forward with your financial lives. Okay? Keep certain things separate. Resentment can grow if you feel obligated to assume some responsibility for your partner's debt or vice versa. It is okay to keep certain things separate and to make each of you responsible for paying back any debt that was assumed before you got together. Even after you are together, do not feel that you need to take on debt for your partner. Okay? For example, co-signing for a loan puts you at risk financially, especially if your partner has a history of skipping out on debt. Agree at the beginning that you will not co-sign for loans together unless both of you benefit from them. Okay, so plan also for joint debt. If you decide to take out a mortgage or other major loans with your partner, there are a few things you can do to minimize argument and prevent issues from cropping up in the future. First, it is a good idea to wait until you both have a good credit score before you apply for a mortgage. Otherwise, it will cost you a lot. By the way, while it doesn't sound romantic, okay, drafting up a partnership agreement if you are not married before you take out a loan or buy a home can protect you both in the long run. The agreement, sometimes called a home buying prenuptials, outlines who is responsible for what and what happens if things do not work out between the two of you. So putting something in writing and signing on the dotted line can save you both a lot of headaches if things do not work out or if you suddenly need to sell the house. Reason number 5 that I kind of set aside was who earns what. It is fairly common for one partner to earn more than the other. And income disparity can lead to arguments and feelings of resentment or insecurity. Additionally, one partner can feel inclined to have more of a say over what happens to the money if there is a big difference in income. So be equitable. Even if there is a large gap between the amounts both partners earn, you can still work together to create a balanced and fair budget. So instead of dividing your joint expenses in half, split them up so that each person pays an equal portion of income. Okay, so each person should also have a say when it comes to decisions that affect the home. For example, Even if the higher earning partner is paying, let's say, for an entire vacation or for a new car, it is not fair for that partner to get to choose the vacation destination or the car without any input from the other. If that's happening to you, take the time to share with your partner how it makes you feel. It could be that your partner doesn't even realize that making decisions without you is hurting your feelings. In this case, a reminder that you are both working together, even if your incomes are not in alignment, can be helpful. Divide responsibilities. In some cases, a partner who earns less might take on more responsibility at home to try to close the gap between incomes. A spouse who does not have an income producing job might care for the kids or work to put dinner on the table every night. However, even if one of you works and the other doesn't, it is not fair for any single person to do all the household chores or handle all the home maintenance issues. A partner who has to take care for a home alone without help or support from a spouse can start to feel angry and resentful. Okay? And the last point or issue that I want to address today is financial infidelity. How many times have you lied to your partner about money? Romantic partners do not always tell each other everything. But when they hide financial accounts, be it a bank account or a private credit card, it can lead to serious emotional repercussions. Having a secret about money or debt that your partner does not know about is maybe a way to create a disaster in a relationship. This behavior is called financial infidelity. The same reasons why sexual infidelity can destroy a marriage holds true for financial infidelity. Financial infidelity can really destroy a marriage and have a far greater negative and lasting impact on the marriage. When money is involved, there is so much more at stake. As money represents, as I said before, security, freedom, success, respect, and stability. So why is financial infidelity a big deal? The problem is not only with the relationship, but with the person's overall actions. If your spouse has a gambling addiction or an expensive obsession, let's say, like cars, boats, or something, some kind of high ticket item, they might resort to illegal means to feed that desire. Bigger problems might lie beneath what looks like a hidden credit card or a hidden bank account. In extreme cases, some spouses do not discover financial infidelity until they, as a family, cannot make the mortgage payments or must give up a car. So what are the problems caused by financial infidelity? Financial infidelity can be just as harmful to a relationship as sexual infidelity, if not more. It can damage trust in a relationship and lead to separation or divorce. It could hurt a couple two ways. The first casualty is trust. In a relationship, people must be able to count on each other. And that is not possible when one partner is lying or hiding important information from the other. The other is dishonesty. When you hide financial matters from your partner, you are showing that on some level, you do not trust them enough to be honest with them. Sooner or later, the deception is bound to come out. And when it does, your partner will not trust you either. So when the deception has to do with money, it has financial consequences of its own. So even minor deception like a few secret purchases can cause your household budget to fail. When you're trying to get by on a tight budget, it is important to know exactly where every dollar is going, and there is no way to do that when one partner is making secret purchases. When a spouse cheats on you, you can always walk away from the marriage and get on with your life. But with financial infidelity, you must live with the effect for however long it takes to dig yourself out of the hole. Financial infidelity takes many forms, some more serious than others. I could enumerate a few. Spending in secret. Perhaps the most common form of financial infidelity is lying about or covering up spending. Cover up debt. A more serious form of financial infidelity is hiding debt from your partner. In some cases, secret debt can amount to tens of thousands of dollars. Lying about your income. People can lie about their income in either direction. Some hide a high income from their spouses. For fear their spouses will spend it all, while others exaggerate a low income because they are embarrassed to have their spouses know how little they really make. Hiding accounts is another one. One of the rarest forms of financial infidelity is keeping entire accounts hidden from your partner. So, what are the reasons for financial infidelity? People keep financial secrets from their partners for a variety of reasons. Most often, they are simply trying to avoid getting into an argument over money. Sometimes, hidden money matters can be a symptom of a deeper problem in the relationship, such as fear or lack of trust. Probably the most serious reason couples cover up money matters from each other is out genuine fear. All right? So financial infidelity can also be a symptom of distrust and resentment in a relationship. It often comes from income inequality in marriage. In some cases, financial infidelity and sexual infidelity go hand in hand. People who are cheating on their spouses usually try to cover up evidence of the affair, and that means hiding expenses such as hotel bills, gifts, and travel. They may try to pass off these costs as business expenses or open a secret account to keep them hidden. Here are a few ideas of how to prevent financial infidelity. Communicate, okay? The key to avoiding fights or argument about money is clear communication. Obviously, the best time to have the money talk is before you get married or before you decide to live together. An important part of this process is to set up a household budget together. Making your budget together ensures that you both know where you stand financially and helps you stay on track towards your goals. Share responsibility. Make sure you are both involved in taking care of your joint finances. Then stay aware of how much money you have, where it comes from, and how it is spent. Address problems as they happen. Even if you are completely honest with each other about your finances, there is no guarantee that you will never run into money problems. Problems like a job loss, high medical bills, or other unexpected expenses can happen to anyone. The good news is that when your finances are an open book, it is much easier to deal with problems like these together. Instead of making your problems worse by trying to hide them from each other, you can face them head on and deal with them right away. Admit the problem. There are several warning signs that a partner could be cheating on you financially. You might discover a receipt or a bill for a purchase you didn't know about, or you might notice that bills and bank statements are magically disappearing from the mailbox. Your partner's behavior can also tip you off. Some people become defensive and reluctant to talk about money, while others suddenly start spending a lot more or a lot less. So if you suspect your partner of financial infidelity, start by gathering the evidence you found and showing it to your partner. Try to do this in a way that does not sound like a personal attack, might be difficult, which could cause your partner to panic and deny everything. So approaching the problem with concern rather than anger is the best way to get at the truth. If you are the partner who is cheating, you must own up to your mistakes, and the sooner the better. Come clean about what you've done and make it clear that you take it seriously and you want to do whatever it takes to win back your partner's trust. Understand the root cause of that, financial infidelity. It is often a symptom of a problem somewhere else in the relationship. Uncovering and dealing with the problems that lead to the infidelity is just as important as dealing with the result. If you don't address the root cause, it will only lead to further problems down the road. So we build trust. Financial infidelity is essentially a breach of trust between partners. And a key part of recovery is finding a way to restore that trust. One important step is to be completely open about your finances from now on. So seek personal help. Sometimes the reasons behind financial infidelity are not obvious. In these cases, talking to a financial therapist by yourself or as a couple can help you get to the root of your behavior and figure out how to deal with it. Okay, so let me quickly repeat the ideas on how to prevent infidelity. Communicate, share responsibility, address problems as they happen, admit the problem, understand the root cause, rebuild trust, and seek professional help is needed. So recovering from financial infidelity takes a lot of work from both partners. However, if you are truly committed to each other, it is possible to get through it. Be as patient as you can with each other and give your new financial habits time to work. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for today and do a quick recap. So I shared a lot of information about merging finances. I addressed the importance of having financial conversation before saying I do. Some of the reasons couples argue about money and how to deal with them. And I talk about financial infidelity, the what, the why, and the how to deal with it. Before I forget, let me share my contact information. You can reach me by sending me an email at mj@mariejocesar.com or by sending me a direct message via Facebook. I'm going to leave you with this last point. Money is much more than dollars and cents. It's about power, about emotion, about needs. Do not let it be a constant battle in your relationship. Be willing to find a middle ground. Be willing to finally put the problem to rest, and do not hesitate to seek professional help if needed. If you want to have a long and happy relationship with someone, one of the first things one of the first things you have got to get over is your fear of talking about money. Letting financial concern simmer beneath the surface leads to arguments, and in many cases, those arguments lead to breakups and divorce. Do not be a statistic. As you know, I like to end the show with a quote or a message or something. I found a passage from an American scientist and author by the name of Bernard Duska, and it reads, "The love and security found in a successful marriage is priceless. Undermining that relationship by lying about debt and expenditures put money ahead of the marriage, and no thing is worth the loss of that good relationship." So I'm going to end for sure. And for more information about how to build a secure financial plan, join me next week, Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Atlantic Time. I will be talking about step 10 of the process, which is teach your children about money and finance. This is going to be the last step in the How to Build a Secure Financial Plan series. Thank you for being here today on the Merging Life and Money Show. I know it was a little long. I am your host, Mary Jo Caesar. I will be back again next week. Until then, continue merging life and money. Bye for now.